What is up, course heroes? Welcome to the channel. I am your host Amit, and today we are talking about 18 core features that makes new Zenler worth your investment. Let's get started. So the first and one of my favorite features of new Zenler, you've heard me talk about this a lot, is their page editor and the drag and drop blocks. So how it works is, here I am on a page that was built on new Zenler. I can hit the plus button here and simply, let's say I want to pick a FAQ block, I can pick that and drop it on the page. And now I can customize this. I can go into its settings, change the design, the color and everything to meet my brand. And then also have some settings here. What should be the expanded icon, which is this, the collapsed icon, etc. So that's how easy it is to add blocks to your pages. And that's the part I love. Or you can build something like this from scratch, where I can just add a new empty block. And within that empty block, you can add images. New Zenler has an integration with Pixabay, so all the images can be searched right here within their editor on the Pixabay site. If I search for dog, here are all the dog images. If I like one, I can simply insert it and then that gets added into my page. I'm not going to talk too much about the editor other than the fact that it's awesome, and I will link to a video that'll show you the real power of how to use this editor. Let's move on to the next thing that I love about new Zenler. For this next feature, what I want to do is, this was one of the most asked feature, and new Zenler has finally delivered on their promise. And for this, what I'm going to do is go to my third site, which is ZZ Templates. Here under site, the new feature is blog. So they have finally enabled blogging. Now this is V1 of blogs, version 1, which means it is not fully baked, but it is still ready for prime time. They're going to continue to enhance it, add more features. Now, if you're coming from WordPress, this is going to seem a little lackluster, but nonetheless, you now have the opportunity to have everything under that single roof. So to show you how this blogging feature works, first of all, if I go to my get NZLR site, you'll see this enable blog functionality. And when you enable it, this is what your site URL will be. That's out of the box, and that's where your blog will be hosted. So I haven't enabled it for this site yet, but for ZZ Templates, I've already enabled it and I've created my first blog. So to view your blog, how it looks like, and I'll link you to a video that talks in depth about how blogs work in new Zenler, but to view it, you're just going to click on view blog. That's going to bring you to that blog page. And I haven't done much work editing this, but it's the same thing where you go to the page editor and edit the appearance of your blog. So I've made a dummy post here, put a picture, which would be the featured image for the blog. Here's the title, and then here's my author name, and then a little snippet of what this blog post is about. And here you can see all your blog posts. You can sort them by categories. You can find a blog here, or you can go create a new post. Before I go into creating a new post, let me quickly show you what this post looks like. So I can click the three dots to either edit it, clone it, or delete it. I'm going to click into it and click on preview. And this is what your blog is going to look like. Again, like I mentioned, it's not the greatest blog platform out there, but it is still a platform that enables blogging for us content creators, so we don't have to juggle multiple platforms. So this is what it looks like. I have my social links here about the author, and then also the blog title. And then finally, here's the description of the blog, and I added another image. You can see categories is kind of wonky. It's showing at the bottom here. Now let's go back into this blog and see what's going on here. I have a category, I have an author name here, and these are author roles that you're going to give to your site members. If I go into people here, I can click on any person and change their role. And then here's your blog post URL. You can edit it, but you'll always have the blog in front of that URL. And then the post description, this is what shows up on the front of the page right here, your title of the post. And then here is where you write the content. Again, the content editor isn't what I am used to, because I'm coming from WordPress, where we have the drag and drop functionality. So hopefully they will bring that drag and drop editor that is great on the page side into the blog side, and that would be just the cherry on top. I'm sure Zenler is aware of this and they're working on it. In the meantime, what can you do here? You can put in your text, you can highlight that text, you can format it to have a heading 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. And then you can also go into the HTML mode to do advanced HTML stuff that the simple out of the box editor doesn't allow you to do. So if I toggle this into HTML mode, I can make more edits here. So that's great. And it's a lot more than what I would expect from a course management platform, learning management system. Once you've made your changes, just hit update. Since this blog is already published, I don't need to hit the publish button. Otherwise, you'd see the publish button here. If I unpublish this post and publish it again, you will see that I get this message reminding me that I need to go and recreate my sitemap. So to do that, I can simply go to site settings, and in site settings, you have sitemap, and I can go click on create sitemap. And that's pretty much it. That creates the sitemap, and everything else is taken care of on the new Zenler side. So now your site is ready for Google to crawl because you have a sitemap.xml file. That's how sitemaps work. No technical knowledge required. The other thing we can do here is we can, under settings for this blog post, so we looked at the first tab. The next tab is the settings tab. You can show or hide featured image. Always good to show a featured image. You can take care of your meta keywords here and also upload a social share image. I want to use the same image that's my featured image as my social share image. So whenever I share this link on social media platforms, that's the image that's going to pull. And then finally, you can add custom HTML code, which will be inserted below the blog post. And in most cases, you might use this functionality to add a comment section so people can comment on your blog. You can use the Facebook developer tool to add Facebook comments so people can start commenting on your blog. So great functionality. Let's see what else is here in blog. If I go to blog, I can go to settings. I can change the title of my blog itself and the description of that blog. I can enable the blog, which I already have, and then show post created date. If I enable this and update it, if we go back to my post here, you will see now it's going to show when this was last created. And if you don't like that, you don't want people to see in Google searches that this is an older post, then you can uncheck that setting over there. And then you have the SEO settings for the blog itself, which would again be your title, description, and then any social share image. That would be kind of like the overarching look and feel of your blog, which is this part right here. So that's under settings, and that's pretty much it for the blogging part. As a reminder, all new features are only being released for the pro and premium users. So if you're not on the pro plan yet, and hopefully you're watching this video before February 20th of 2021, you can still get in at the beta price of $447. From what I hear, it's going up by $200 starting February 20th of 2021. So it'll be $647 instead of $447. Still a great price. The next functionality that I want to show you was also one of the most asked things within New Zenler, which was assignments. So now if I go back to my previous school, I can go to courses, and on my courses, you're going to see assignments. And here you can see that I have one assignment that I already created. And this assignment was submitted by a student, and this is how they submitted it. I can manage it. I've already approved it, but I can click on the manage button to see that assignment, what they submitted. I recently covered assignments in greater depth. So I will link to that video, which will show you how assignments work. So I don't want to spend too much time on it. But how it essentially works is I can go to a course and go to the curriculum, and within that curriculum, when I add a lesson, that lesson can be an assignment. And within assignment, you give your assignment a title, put a description of what this assignment is about, and then you decide whether this assignment type is a text input, file upload, or both. And if they're uploading file, what's going to be the max file size. And then if you want to provide some reference to your students before they can submit this assignment, then you can drop those files here. And that is how the assignment feature works. Again, look out for the link that shows you more in depth of how this assignment feature works. Let's move on to the next one. While we are talking about blocks, the latest thing that New Zenler has added is the ability to save custom blocks. So for example, you have made changes to this FAQ. Let's go and make some changes just so I can show you. Okay, so I've made changes to my FAQ block. I've made the icon red and also the border color red. Every time I add this on a different page, prior, I had to go in and do all those customizations again. But now we can save these blocks as custom blocks, and I'm just going to call this FAQ block. So this becomes available to me site-wide, no matter what page I'm on. So if I go here and let's just say I change this to a different page, that custom block that we just saved is going to be available on this page for me to use. Now currently this is only per site, and remember with New Zenler we get 3 separate sites to use. So if you're working on site number 2 or 3, you still won't have that capability, but I have heard that they are working on bringing that so we can import export block. So for now I'm going to, if I hit plus here, I'm going to go to custom blocks, and here's my FAQ block. I'm going to drop that in, and you can see that it brings in all the styling that you had performed on it, so you don't have to do it over and over and over again. For the price that you're paying, which at the time of this recording is $447, by the time you watch this, it might, hopefully it's still $447, and if so, you can use the link in the description below. Regardless, if you use that link in the description and upgrade, you get some awesome bonuses. I'm going to link to those bonuses down there in the description so you can check them out. If you buy New Zenler and upgrade to the Pro plan, you get 3 separate schools. Now these 3 schools don't have to be connected to each other. They can be completely different niches, but you get 3 separate sites. That's just because they are in beta, they want to give that to get you into their system. To show you how those 3 separate sites work, if I click on my name here, you can see I have my second and third site. This is considered my parent site, which has a little star next to it. Then I am on this site, which is a different domain. And then I finally have my third site, which is this one, ZZ Templates. And that's a template library where you can go and purchase New Zenler templates. Let's move on to feature number 4. For this, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the course itself, because it's all about building courses, and I'm going to go and edit the sales page of an existing course. I'm on a course sales page, and now here, the one thing that I love is the ability to add dynamic blocks. As you can see, we have this dynamic label on my blocks here. And if I just go in my search, type in dynamic, I'll be able to see all the dynamic blocks that New Zenler has. And what makes them dynamic is the content of the block depends on what you have added on your courses. For example, if I go here and set this one here, which is featured courses, it's going to pull in all the courses that are featured on my school. Right now I only have one featured course, so it's only going to show one, but I can go and change that. Again, the dynamic blocks have a little less control as to what you can change, but you can still continue to change things to make it match your brand colors by going into the editor here and see what your options are. Great feature, saves me a ton of time because I don't have to keep creating these blocks. If I keep adding new courses, I just add my featured courses here and it's going to show me all the featured courses. Or I can go back here and say, you know what, instead of that, I want to pull in a dynamic block. Let's go up here. I want to pull in a dynamic block that shows all courses. So I'm going to put in the all courses block, and this will show every course that is available to me in New Zenler. So here are all my courses. There's a load more button here for pagination, so they can click that. And then if you click on settings, you'll be able to control some of the settings to match your brand standards. One thing to note about dynamic blocks, they are dynamic, which means that you don't have full control over what you can and cannot do with those blocks. One thing you cannot do, which makes sense because it's a dynamic block, is you cannot save it as a custom block, because dynamic blocks always pull the latest and greatest content. So if tomorrow I was to delete some of these courses, they won't show up in this dynamic block. So it doesn't make sense to save them as custom blocks. For our next feature, it is more on the money side, which is 0% transaction fees. And of course, who doesn't like 0% transaction fees? I moved to New Zenler from Teachable. If I go to Google Teachable pricing, you can see, let's go to the pricing here. The basic one has 5% transaction fees, and that's $29 a month. The Pro doesn't have transaction fees, but that's 99 bucks a month. And that's on the annual plan. If I go to the monthly plan, the basic is $39 a month. And Zenler, as it stands today at $447, is about 37 bucks a month. Now, on the no transaction fee, you will see that you are still subject to the monthly payment gateway fee, which will be 2% transaction fee. So they are lying when they say no transaction fees, and they're hiding that under this little info icon that there is a fee. So why wouldn't they just say no fee? It doesn't make sense. It's deception. That's what I like about New Zenler, is the transparency. Yes, they charge 10% fees on the free plan, but it's a free plan. So they have to somehow maintain those infrastructure costs, and they don't lie about it. They're not sneaky about it. They just say, yeah, we have a 10% fee for free plan. But if you're on the pro plan, it is 0%. So that's another great thing about New Zenler. The next one is communities. So if we go back here, every time I go create a course, I can create a community to attach to that course. So if I go to this course here, I can go to its pricing. Let's just go edit this pricing plan. I can select what community to attach to this specific course, or I can just go to communities and add a new one and select whether that community is going to be site-wide. So anyone who registers on my site becomes a part of that community, or it's going to be attached to a specific course. Not just a specific course, within that course it can be attached to a specific pricing plan. And that is huge, because you could have a course with 3 different pricing tiers. The first one could be silver, gold, and platinum, and you only want to provide a community to your platinum students, not to your silver and gold students. You can simply uncheck those boxes, and that's how you can control who can get access to you through that community. And the communities are great. So if I go here, you'll see there's some activity here on my communities, and if I click on that first one, it brings me to the post, shows me who posted it and what they're talking about. It's very awesome. You don't have to rely on Facebook. Yes, it's another place for students to log in, but they're already logging in to learn the course, so you might as well interact with them on that community. Great feature. Let's move on to the next one. The other one is the integration with Zoom. So if I go back to Teachable here and just search webinars, nothing comes up. Zoom, nothing comes up. So they don't have webinars in their plan. If I go here, you can see I have the live button enabled here. I can create a live class, a live webinar, or live stream. So what's the difference between the three? A live class lets you make sure that only those who are registered in a specific course can attend that live class. Going back to our silver, gold, platinum option, I want to give a one-on-one or a more unique experience to those who have signed up on my platinum course. For them, I'll create a live class. Now here, when you're creating these classes, you also get to choose a theme, and they have put in some really well-built themes, so you don't have to do too much work in designing these pages. So I'm going to fill out these details real quick to show you the next step, which is choosing a theme. I do want to show you real quick, you can have a maximum of up to 300 attendees on the pro plan, and it's 500 on the premium plan. And then you have 100 sessions a month that are divided into these different categories. You have in normal sessions that run up to an hour 30. Then you get extended sessions, which are up to 2 hours. And then you get super extended sessions, which are up to 4 hours. And how they divvy that up, I'm going to show you that real quick. If I go to my account, you have 25 of the extended sessions, 10 super extended sessions, and then the remaining 65 are the regular sessions. So you have a total of 100 sessions per month that renews every single month. So that's a great thing about having these webinars. And when you're creating them, so this is a live class, I want to create a live class for only those people who are registered in my step-by-step guide and who are registered only in the monthly subscription. I don't want anyone else. So here's my monthly subscription, and that's how I want to make sure that only people who are registered for that specific pricing plan get access to this webinar. And that's pretty awesome. And then after this, we just hit the next button. So you have these 3 different templates to choose from for your theme. and that automatically creates 4 different pages. So for example, if I pick this theme, I'm going to hit finish. Now this is going to create my registration page, my thank you page, my waiting page, and then my replay page. So here are the 4 pages that the waiting page is essentially the live page where your students will go once they have registered for the webinar and when it's time to go live. So there's already a countdown timer on your webinar page that's pulling in the dynamic content. You don't need to do anything. The register button is dynamic. You don't need to do anything. So is your title and some of this other stuff. You can just replace it. It's showing the date and time when the webinar is going to be held. And then you can this has the same page editor that I showed you earlier. So you can add as many blocks as you want. There are pre-made blocks here. Simply go look at the blocks that you like. Let's say I want to add a slideshow block. I'm going to drag it and drop it here. That adds a slideshow, and I can change the slideshow images, and this becomes my block. And then you go down here, it shows what people can expect from this webinar. So really awesome functionality, where originally it was just very simple sign up and thank you page. Now they've extended that capability to have these more beautiful looking pages that will convert your visitors into your webinar attendees, which will eventually lead into sales. And then from here I can go into my thank you page, waiting page, and replay page just to change them if I want to. Here's what the waiting page looks like, which is essentially the page that your students will go to when they're ready to enter your Zoom webinar. And here, when they click on enter live class, that will open Zoom on their computers. The other thing I want to mention here is in live, you can also live stream to Facebook and YouTube using the integrated Zoom functionality. So Zenler has a direct integration with Zoom, which means all these webinars and live classes, when it's time for you to deliver the webinar or deliver the live class, it's going to open up the Zoom client, which is awesome because most of us are by now, thanks to COVID, unfortunately, are used to using Zoom, which means that your students will not have to struggle with technology to figure out how to join your webinar or your live class, which is going to in turn increase adoption. So that's another great thing about having the integrated Zoom webinars. Let's move on to the next one. The next one I want to quickly talk about is marketing funnels. And out of the box, Zenler has 2 different funnel types. One is the lead magnet funnel, which we are all so used to, where you create a lead magnet, someone gives you their email, and then I'm also going to link to a video that talks more about marketing funnels. And the second one is the video series funnel, where you unlock video 1, 2, 3, 4, and then make the sale on maybe day 5. So if you click on the video series funnel, you can add the number of steps. So I can say that here, let's just go to a video library. We'll select this, go to video library, select this, and that becomes the steps. And you can add up to 10 steps, which would make it a 10-day video funnel, where each day you send your visitors to the next video, and that video only unlocks on the next day. Again, I'm going to link to a video that talks about these marketing funnels, but again, out of the box functionality. You don't need to use lead pages or unbounce or ClickFunnels for your marketing funnels. It's all laid out for you in Zenler. Let's move on to the next feature. This tab right next to marketing funnels is your email broadcast. And you can see I've sent a lot of emails from Zenler. We get about, if I go back to the statistics page, you can see I get about 100,000 email credits per month, and that renews every single month. I personally have never hit that limit, but if you're thinking, gee, that's only 25,000 emails a week, and I can totally hit that if I have 25,000 subscribers and I send them 1 email a week, I'm going to hit that. Well, Zenler has you covered because you also can bring in your own SMTP and connect it to your email to your Zenler mail. So if I go to site here and I go to integrations, you can see bring your own SMTP. So I can simply add my SMTP details here, and that will allow me to send a lot more emails than just the 100,000. It's not just, but if you think it's less than what you need, then you can bring your own SMTP. That brings me to the next point, which is all these email integrations. So I'm currently integrated with my MailerLite account, and I have chosen what my default mailing list should be. But Zenler has done a great job of integrating with some of the top 5 email marketing platforms out there. So MailChimp, ConvertKit, MailerLite, ActiveCampaign, and MooSend are already integrated with Zenler. And if your email marketing service is not listed here, then Zenler also integrates with Zapier and Pabbly. Pabbly is my new favorite. I've left Zapier for Pabbly. Much less expensive and does a lot more than Zapier. So definitely check out Pabbly. I'll put a link in the description below for that as well. Let's move on to the next feature. Before we head on to the next feature, I also want to quickly point out that Zenler recently added Zenler mail authentication, which means you can authenticate the mail going out of your own servers. That way your mail doesn't end up in spam. If everyone is using Zenler mail, that means everyone is using Zenler's own mailing servers. And if one person is a bad egg and sends a lot of spam, we all suffer. So if you don't want to do that, you can go in here and you can do a domain verification and just add all those MX records into your own host. There is a help video out there on how to do this, so definitely check that out if this is something that you're interested in doing. Let's move on to the next one. So for our next one, I am on the checkout page of one of my courses, and here you can see they have added a new thing called order bump. ClickFunnels kind of pioneered this, but it has become almost a table stake and everyone should have this. And if you click on add order bump, I can say that I want to sell a different course, and here's my different course that I want to add as a complement to what they're already purchasing. And this doesn't have to be a course. You can create a dummy course and put a one-on-one coaching in there and just add that in here. And then I can basically select, let's say if I have a coupon, I can apply that coupon. I don't want to apply this coupon. I want to give them a one-time order bump of $99. And then you can change the title, description, and text box. And I'm going to link to a video of how these order bumps work. They're very effective. And then you can also choose the style of the order bump. You can choose what the checkbox color is going to be, what the checkbox background color is going to be. Obviously, if it's an order bump, you want it to stand out. Amazing functionality. Not only do you have order bumps, if I go to the thank you page of this course, so let's just go to the thank you page, you can also add upsell blocks. So if they skip the order bump, now you can add an upsell block. I am on the thank you page of my course, as you can see here. And here what I can do is I can add a new block, and I am going to search for upsell and simply add an upsell block here. And this basically gives them the wait, your order is not complete, continue to upsell. You can also edit your upsell block, choose what course you want to upsell within that upsell block, and then also which pricing plan you want to sell it for. And if you have any coupons, you can apply those coupons here. And then show confirmation, you can either show or hide, and then this is what that confirmation message is, which you can change. Great functionality. This kind of makes it a true funnel builder, in my opinion, because you have all these upsells, downsells, all these different steps that you can add in your courses. Let's move on to the next feature. One of the next features is, I've talked about this, but if you're new to the channel, maybe you're just checking this out, you heard about Zenler, we're going to go to pricing. And Zenler has this unique pricing model called tiers. So if I add a new plan, actually I'm going to go and edit the existing plan that I have here, which is a $2 subscription. And here I can turn tiers on. As you hover over these question marks, they're going to tell you what they mean. If you turn tiers on, you can basically restrict access to specific modules within your course, even down to the specific lesson within that module. And this, going back to our silver, gold, platinum example, you can create one course and have 3 different pricing plans, and each tier gets access to different levels within that course. You can do that with tiered pricing. Very, very powerful for me as a course creator, so I don't have to go sit and clone my course 3 times just so I can have 3 separate pricing plans. Let's move on to the next feature. For the next one, it's 2 little things. One is, of course, unlimited courses that you get with New Zenler with unlimited students, but you also, New Zenler takes care of your tax handling. So if I go to my site here and go to tax, you can enable EU VAT taxes. So if you live in the European Union, you can enable this, and then you can also take care of all this stuff here. And if you enable this checkbox, then your students or customers can add a VAT ID during checkout, and that field becomes enabled at checkout. And then 2 last things I wanted to share with you. One is the Razorpay integration, which was huge for people who are selling their courses in India. So if I go to integrations, you will see that Razorpay is now available for all the Indian population, so they can connect Razorpay and start selling courses. And then final feature, again, there's a lot to cover, but I just wanted to hit the highlights of what makes New Zenler great. And that final thing, in my opinion, is the course migration service, where New Zenler support will migrate your courses from Teachable or Thinkific into New Zenler. If you're not on one of those 2 platforms and you're considering New Zenler, shoot me an email. I'll put my email in the description. I have a virtual assistant. I can hook you up with him. He can help you migrate all the content. So let's do a quick recap of the 18 features that makes New Zenler what it is today. And this is, again, just skimming the surface. There's a lot more features, tiny little things that add up, but I just don't have enough time to get into all of it. So here are my 18 top features. We have the drag and drop builder. We have the blog functionality. Awesome. We have assignments, saving custom blocks. You get 3 separate sites, dynamic content that gets pulled onto your pages, 0% transaction fees. You have communities. You have Zoom integration, through which you can use live stream, live classes or live webinars, marketing funnels, email marketing, built-in email marketing, which now also allows you domain authentication, and you can bring your own SMTP if you're worried about the 100,000 emails per month limit. Then you have one-click upsells and order bumps. You have integrations with 5 of the top email marketing platforms plus Zapier integration. You have tiered pricing. You have unlimited courses, 0% transaction fees, EU VAT handling, tax handling, and Razorpay integration, which is huge for all my fellow Indians out there. There you have it, course heroes. Those are the 18 features that makes New Zenler worth the investment, in my opinion. Now I want to hear from you in the comments below. What is your favorite feature of New Zenler? Or maybe you're on the fence and you haven't made up your mind yet. Hit me up in the comments below and let me know what's holding you back from moving to New Zenler. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, and I will see you on the flip side. Keep creating.